This is the Welted Fidget Toy by me, Shanalines Designs. I created this little pattern as a way to practice a few techniques. It uses a provisional cast on. I use garter stitch with a slip stitch edge, and it uses stockinette welts and then an applied I-cord trim. Let's see, this is the right side of the work. This is the wrong side of the work. And so you can see the welt line that's created. See right there, I don't know if it'll focus, the two blue stitches that are pulled together. So I wanted to show you how to create welts. I have another piece in progress. I am using some yellow yarn for the main garter stitch body and this darker blue heathered yarn for the welts. So this welt has already been created right here. I'll show you the back side again. See it's a little dark, but there's the two lines where I've joined the fabric. But I want to show you in this video how to create the welt. So this pattern is available in my Ravelry and PayHip stores. And this video is just a little supplement to show you how to use it. I have a few other patterns with welts as well. I have created the number of rows my pattern had me do in stockinette, which is 8 in this case. This is the right side of the fabric. I am going to turn over to the wrong side of the fabric. I have a spare needle that's the same size as my working needle. This happens to have a 12-inch cord. I could use the other side of my working needle if I have a long circular, but you will need a third needle tip to join these edges. So the reason I like working with a contrast color for my welt is I can see the stitch, and so I can see where it is to pick it up. So I'm going to make sure that I'm picking up the same number of stitches that I have live on the needle. Just going in one at a time and loading them onto this spare needle. If you've joined a folded edge, let me count for a sec. It's similar to that. Sometimes I'll use a provisional cast on to join a brim, but if you don't prefer that, you can also do this. You can sort of dip down and grab all of those live stitches. So I made sure I have the same number. It can be a little tricky to find the stitches on either end, so I like using this spare needle because let's say I've gone all the way across and I've realized, oh, I'm at the last stitch and I don't have it. Maybe I missed one at the beginning, and so I can sort of sneak my needle back in and pick up that stitch that way. That's a possibility. I'm back on the right side of the fabric, and I just wanted to show you, I've got my working yarn. It's actually down here. It's this yellow yarn that I'm using, and I'm going to be using the working yarn, which will be the color for the next section, to join or close my welt. If I were to join it using this color, I would actually end up with one small ridge of that color. Not the end of the world, but I prefer to do it like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking, you can see I have the reverse stockinette side of the fabric. I'm folding these two sides in, which is what creates that little puffy welt. Okay, folding in. I do have the tails. You can tuck them, you can tuck the tails into the welt. I find it's just as easy for me to weave them in later. So all I'm going to do, sorry, there's a little bit of a clanging happening right here. Let me figure out if I can stop that. Okay. I'm going to knit this welt together by inserting my needle into the front stitch and then the back stitch, knitting these two stitches together and pulling them off the needle. So what happens, so I gotta tug that a little bit. I'm closing these up. the front and the back of the fabric, it will become a little bit more clear as I go on what I'm doing. So if I were making a 3-needle bind off here, which maybe you've done that before, I would then be binding off a stitch, but I want the stitches live, so I'm going to just knit the front and the back stitch together the whole way across till I get to the end of my row. And I'm creating this puffy little welt, which I enjoy for its tactile interest. Gives a little something different in the fabric. I've joined all my stitches. My spare needle is no longer needed, so I've created this little sweet little puffy welt. And you can see on the reverse side of the fabric, the 2 rows of blue stitches are joined together. And that's all there is.